Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is said to have many different twists and turns, as well as surprises in this film by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one aspect of Episode 9 that a lot of people are very curious about has all to do with Rey's lineage and exactly who her parents really are, specifically Rey's father, which is more important from what it seems than Rey's mother at this point in time right now. Now, we do know that J.J. Abrams confirmed just a couple of days ago, and even over a month ago over at Star Wars Celebration, that Rey's parents will be explored in greater depth in this movie, which is great because I think that a lot of us really want to learn more about the character of Rey, her backstory, and where she really comes from, and exactly who her father really was. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very exciting for this movie. Now, specifically, it's described that a description of Rey hopping off of her speeder and coming close to a large structure that is described to be the home of her father on an unknown world. It's described that Rey uses her lightsaber to cut through a large metallic door that is protecting this home that is said to have once been the home of her father that contains many secrets. The next describes Rey entering her father's home, where it's described that she comes across a large hologram of a map that eventually activates by Rey, where it's said to include secret hyperspace routes to the unknown regions that were stolen by Rey's father that once belonged to Emperor Palpatine on Jakku. Now, these hyperspace routes are said to lead to a star system in the depths of the unknown regions that holds a pathway to the beyond that Rey's father discovered and kept a secret and prevented from Palpatine discovering its location. Now, however, it's described that Rey's father was only able to temporarily hide the location from Palpatine, as Sidious eventually found it himself, and since then, Palpatine was beginning to degrade at a rapid rate, where he needed to find a way to survive. So I want to go over a couple of parts about this, through this message and through this hologram of a map that leads to the unknown regions that Rey discovers that once belonged to Rey's father, and the origins of it all was of course discovered by the Empire themselves that actually hid it away over on Jakku, specifically within the Jakku Spire, or the Jakku Observatory, I should say. So what's really intriguing to me about all of this is that this most certainly is starting to tie directly into the story of Palpatine, and of course Rey's connection to Emperor Palpatine as well as Rey's father. There is a connection there in some way, shape, or form. From what it seems like, Rey's father was an asset to Palpatine at one point in time, and he basically rebelled. He went up against Palpatine and stole these hyperspace routes that lead to the unknown regions, that hence lead to a star system that holds a great connection to the beyond. Now, the other piece that I want to go over that really is starting to make me think as to exactly what J.J. Abrams is trying to do here with the character of Palpatine is, it's described that Palpatine eventually discovered the location of the beyond on his own, and ever since he returned from the beyond, he was slowly degrading from the new dark power that Palpatine discovered. Now, the beyond itself was actually causing Palpatine to degrade, and this could very well be J.J.'s way of really making something canon as to why the Palpatine that we see in Return of the Jedi looks different than the one of course, in Revenge of the Sith. Now, of course, the real reason is because both of those movies were shot at different times. We had Revenge of the Sith shot in 2004, and of course we had, Return of the Jedi shot in the 80s. So that's the real reason, but it seems like that JJ is trying to create an in-universe answer, as opposed to Palpatine just aging. He's coming up with this idea of Palpatine once traveling to the beyond, where this is all being told through a message by Rey's father showing the hologram of a map that leads to the beyond. And of course, the secret unknown regions, and of course, their hyperspace routes. This power actually was causing Palpatine to slowly die, and he had to find another way in order to survive through the Dark Acolytes, or the Acolytes of the Beyond, if you will, which very well might tie directly into why we have a Dark Acolyte in this movie. So with that being said, alright, everything related to Rey's father, it seems like that we're getting somewhat of a dynamic between both Jyn Erso and her father in Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. It seems like, at least in my point of view, that is exactly what J.J. Abrams is trying to aim for with this movie. So in Rogue One, you had Galen Erso and his, connection to the Empire, to, of course, Orson Krennic, and to the Emperor and Darth Vader, and just the entire Empire, right? He was basically an asset to the Death Star 1 construction. So in this scenario, from what it seems, you know, he had this connection to Palpatine and slowly hid the hyperspace routes away from him. So all these different reveals related to Rey's father, it really seems like JJ really wants to make a complex story between both Rey, her father, Palpatine, and of course the Beyond and the Unknown Regions, and exactly how it all connects together into one big story at the very end of the Skywalker saga. Now, like I say, guys, Abrams even hinted that this movie could be anywhere from 5 minutes to 4 hours long in length. Do I think it'll be 4 hours? I highly doubt it. Do I think it'll be 3? Very possible. Because after all, Avengers Endgame pulled that off, and of course, Marvel is owned by Disney. So Disney, if they really wanted to do this with the, you know, the Rise of Skywalker, they could absolutely make it a 3-hour movie and really make the father story fleshed out in pretty much great detail. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.